Welcome to this podcast for Brighton School of Business and Management students studying for the Btec Level 5 courses. For this unit, you'll need to satisfy the criteria exactly as laid down in the assignment brief and as described here, but you should, wherever possible, use examples from your own organisation and business sector, as well as showing evidence of having studied the unit topics in depth and breadth by referring where appropriate to relevant models, theories and established best practices. To enhance your understanding of these assignment issues, we strongly advise that you should also discuss them with managers and specialists in your own organisation. Each section should be approximately 500 words, but this is flexible up to around 600 words, not including graphics or illustrations, so you will need to keep your responses focused on what is being specifically asked for in each section. Section 1. Just as asked, you need to identify an issue or problem where change is needed, not one that's already been carried out. Perhaps talk with your line manager or specialists to select one that will be useful to your organisation as well as useful for this assignment. Bear in mind that the need for change can often be due to external forces such as the current recession or the actions of a competitor or a major demographic change. On bullet point 2, you need to briefly describe each of the main change management models and apply one or two of those to your issue or problem. For example, using the simple Lewin 3 steps model, you could describe the current situation, highlighting what's negative, problematic, costly and damaging about it, and what changes will be needed to be carried out to reduce, eliminate and replace the problems, and then what the new situation or the outcomes would be, including benefits, advantages, etc. Section 2. Moving on from Section 1, you need to prepare a plan with outline or estimated timescales, human and physical resources, budget and outcomes. Here you need to forecast or speculate on the impact of your plan on resources, which could be physical, human, financial and time resources. Finally, describe how you have presented or how you would present your plan to your line manager, the management team, relevant specialists and colleagues, and the communication methods and channels that you have used. Section 3. Resistance is almost inevitable, but it can be minimised or localised. There are established, proven methods of overcoming or at least minimising resistance to change. An obvious one is to involve as many people as possible in the early discussions, decision making and implementation of a change, but there are others that you will need to research and discuss. As well as resistance from operational employees, you should also mention very briefly the possibility of resistance from suppliers, customers, shareholders, unions and middle to senior managers. Just as asked, straightforward monitoring and control for effective implementation, virtually the same approach as would be taken for the monitoring and controlling of the implementation stage of any project or plan, but don't forget the resistance factor has to be addressed. On bullet point 3, if at all possible, ideally show that your plan has been accepted and implemented. If this is not possible, then prepare a detailed implementation plan with actions, stages, resources, timescales and milestones. And here again, if at all possible, show some progress checking and review has taken place using SMART objectives, easily researched by entering that phrase into Google. If actual evaluation is not possible, then give a detailed forecast of how you would evaluate the progress of the change implementation, including a range of scenarios such as if resistance increased or decreased, or if costs suddenly rose, or if a key person left the organisation. Don't forget that you need to write a reflective learning statement and add a list of sources of information and references showing any books, websites, articles, case studies, reports, internal documents and people interviewed that you drew on in order to complete this assignment. The reflective statement on sources of information and references are not included in your word count. Here is a list of websites that you should find useful when preparing this assignment. And if you need any further help or guidance with this assignment, please contact your tutor.